Hey everybody, are you feeling this energy, meaning energized? Are you feeling energized? I am feeling it. Astrologically, there is stuff, I'm just going to call it stuff because if I start to go into the details of it, I will totally get sidetracked because that is how my mind works. But let me say this. This week, gosh, it's Friday. So today, this weekend and into next week, you're going to need something to do with your energy so you're not being self-destructive. Mars in Cancer time is when we look to food and the kitchen and the home and the family for comfort, but it's Mars. And Mars is in some intense configurations, having some difficult conversations this weekend and into next week. So there's going to be some angst. I mean, this could even be a food poisoning aspect, There's like something up with the food, the food, the kitchen, the home, the family. This is not across the board. For you, it can play out in your chart as just energy. Or you may be house cleaning, okay? You may put that Marsy energy into cleaning the house. I've got a lot of energy. I've got a lot of energy. I'm not feeling the what could potentially be the restriction part of the sky energy this week. However, under such a sky, we can overdo it. So we can overdo it in the kitchen and have an accident with a knife. We can overdo it by eating food that will make us sick. We can overdo it by exercising too much or too strenuously, and we pull muscles and we're in bed for a week. So be careful, you guys. See, I went off on a tangent already. But the reason I've called us here together is I wanted to talk a little bit about the eclipses again, a couple reminders, and also I wanted to talk about Joe Biden's chart because I think it's interesting, and I wasn't planning on drawing cards for how far he might go in this process towards the presidency, but now I want to, so I'm going to. And if you want to see his chart, Google Joe Biden natal chart and you will see a picture. Well, let's see how far. Now, this isn't about him winning the presidency. I'm not going to ask that, but I want to see in terms of him just being in the running, is he a real contender for the nomination? Does he have power behind him? By power, I mean that fate is on his side. Does he have that kind of power behind him that he may go up against Trump? Let's see. Or someone else, if the Republicans decide. All right, let's see. Is there power behind Joe Biden in this match? I want to say yes and no. Okay, I think he does. I honestly think he does. I feel like he is moving forward towards the front. I think he has, and I'm not sharing my opinion, whether I like him, I like his chart, but this is not about what I want or what I believe. But from the cards, I think there's going to be an adjustment to his strategy. That whatever he was doing, whatever the campaign, whatever his people were having him do, there's a limit to it, and behind the scenes, they're trying to make it better. They're thinking, okay, this isn't working as good as we want. We need to make it work better. They make some adjustments, and then I think he does become a front runner. Isn't he a front runner now? I think he is, but I'm not entirely sure of the numbers. But I see him moving ahead of the pack. I do think he is a real contender and has a substantial chance of being the one, or at least chosen from among the few to be the one. But I do very much feel like there was some kind of adjustment. They're trying to fix something that they don't think is working good enough for him, and then it really makes a difference. It really makes a difference, you guys. Really, really does. Okay, let me see anything else about Biden here. Is there anything else? These cards are weird, guys. I think he really does have a shot to be the front runner, or to be selected, among the few that, keep going higher, higher. I have mixed feelings. I have mixed feelings whether he really wants this, but he feels he has to do it. I'm getting a sense of obligation from him, obligation, commitment, duty, somehow. There's other people involved more than his heartfelt choice, and I feel like he's riding the wave, and he's kind of like, I'll go as far as this will take me, it's up to God, or it's up to fate. Like, his attitude from these cards is like, it's not up to me. But I think he does feel trapped. Like, I feel like he feels he couldn't make a choice, and he couldn't get out of it, like he had to somehow. The obligation, I have to do this, I think it was really strong. But I do see him as being popular and has a shot at being the front runner. And I am saying that, not really sure who is in front with the Democrats. I mean, he is in the top, isn't he? I think he is. Like, I think I saw that somewhere recently. But he felt trapped. Oh, now that I've broken into the cards, I want to do a little more. Just a little more. Does he have a shot at winning? Yeah, he does. Like, I'm thinking winning. I wasn't going to ask this, but actually being president, he has a real shot at it. Yes, I think he's a strong contender. This is interesting because one time I was on one of the zillions of times I was on the amazing Kirsten's show, Third Eye Champagne. I saw someone younger. Like, I was seeing a male and a female, and I was thinking it was a male president, female vice president, some kind of combination like that, Democrat. But this was right before, I think it was a couple days before O'Rourke announced, and then later on Mayor Pete showed up. So maybe, I don't know, maybe I was just seeing these new young men because it seemed to match that. But I remember saying that on her show, maybe even more than once, thinking that it was not one of these old timers, not one of these old timers like Joe Biden, but this like new, fresh young blood. I was really seeing that. So I don't know what's going on, but these cards right now are showing that Biden does have a shot if he becomes the one to compete against the Republicans. He does. I feel like he has a lot of backing, establishment backing. Let's talk a little bit about, I don't know why I'm so excited. Let's talk a little bit about his chart. Now, and I am looking at his chart because I like it. And because I wanted to explore Joe Biden's inner world. Because you know what, you guys? He has a really rich inner world. We've got the birth time. We do have a birth time for him. He is Sagittarius rising. He likes a good debate. Sag likes a good debate. They're intellectual. They want to talk about ideas. And he's friendly and probably funny. But you know what? I mean, people do think the rising sign is the first handshake and that's all, but that's not true. The rising sign I believe, does account for not only a large part of the personality, it is an important personality marker, and also, as Jean Avery wrote, Jean Avery was a great astrologer. She passed, I think a few years ago. She's got a few books. Look her up. She's old school, meaning I think she wrote in the 80s. But she's excellent, and I believe she was the one, or I saw this idea in one of her books, that the rising sign, in part, is how our mother treated us. There's not just the moon, there's a mother linkage with the rising, or how we were expected to be. something about her personality and its effect on us. So I don't know if his mother's alive, but she may be or may have been really fun. Really fun, a fun Sag. So it's more than just the outside. It's more than just the surface or the first handshake, which you show the world, the rising. However, this guy's got an inner world. He has a really interesting inner world. And I'm saying that in part because of his 12th house, you guys. He's got 3, possibly 4 planets in the 12th house. And they're in Scorpio. This guy has secrets. This guy has angst. This guy has so much going on under the surface. If he came to me for a reading, whether or not he was a politician, I would be telling him to develop his psychic abilities with some kind of practice, because otherwise he may feel like a nutcase, because someone with that much 12th house energy, and you 12th house people know how this is, someone with that much 12th house, or actually anything, any planet in the 12th house, you are connected. You are connected to the invisible, to the collective, to the Akashic records. You are connected to things you cannot see and that no one can see. And that can be scary for some people, because you know things and you don't know why. And now I'm remembering, isn't he Catholic? Like very religious Catholic, I think. So, I mean, this house can be, a spiritual house, not connected to a religion like that, like Catholicism, or it can be, it can be a religious person who does have a connection to, Christianity or Catholicism, or, one of the big groups like that. But he's going to be spiritual no matter what, you guys. He is going to be spiritual no matter what. And you know what? This could be the chart of a priest. Seriously, he's got a 10th house Neptune. He's ministering. And I'm thinking, and I am no political strategist, but is that how he could win? If he could really bring that forward, his, I don't want to say religiousness, but his spirituality, and minister to the people, preach. Whenever, I have doubts that he has it in him. I'm trying to think when I've heard him speak, if I've ever thought, wow, that was a really great speech. I don't think so. I don't think he's as beautiful and inspiring a speaker as Obama, but I don't think he's as wooden as Hillary Clinton. I mean, I'm a Hillary fan. I like her, but I think she's not a speech maker. It's hard for her to win people over. Although I like her in interviews, like one-on-one interviews. She seems more warm. Anyway, that's besides the point here. But if he can preach, if he can minister to the people, that will help him, because that's so strong in his chart. And Sag Rising should have a voice that is hard to ignore. It's going to be assertive, an assertive presence, a big presence. You have Sag Rising, you've got a big presence, and you've got a voice. But he's got Mercury in Scorpio in the 12th house, so it's going to be subdued a little. Neptune in the 10th. That's why I'm talking about preaching and using his spirituality, using his ministerness, because Neptune is a marker of the poet and of the priest, the witch, the shaman, the spiritual teacher, the healer. He would have been, I know this sounds crazy. If you don't like him, this is going to sound crazy to you, but he would have been a healer no matter what. I'm seeing him as, talk about Joe Biden's inner world. He is a healer. So it may be in his personal life, or with friends, or with family. But Neptune in the 10th house, this is the public. So you guys, you can help me out here. Has he been, put it in the comments. Has he been seen this way? Has he been seen as, yes, Sag Rising, foot and mouth disease. That's what they say, foot and mouth, Sag Rising. They can say things that they probably shouldn't. There's no filter. There's no filter with the Sag. But Neptune in the 10th is glowing, like we see the person as glowing, and this beautiful, self-sacrificing, compassion for days, 12th house stellium, like this is a feeding the poor chart. But, okay, so he wants to feed the poor. He wants to help everybody. He's got the 12th house planets. He wants to help everybody. And depending on your house system, his Mars is in the 11th or the 12th. That one's going to switch, depending. But there's a but here. There's a but because there is stress. And you knew it was going to happen, you guys, because this is the way charts are. And again, this is not, I probably didn't say this at the start, but this is not a comprehensive chart reading. I'm looking at, I'm glomming on to just some pieces here because I wanted to talk about it, because I wanted to talk to you. But listen to this, you guys, okay? There's a kind of inner turbulence that's always running through his life. And that Sag rising, I think that Sag rising is probably so powerful. And he may have developed it. He may have developed it to a point that he can laugh and joke and smile while he's dying inside. This guy has inner turmoil for days. I don't know what else to call it. Inner turmoil, struggle, angst, trauma, past life stuff. It goes way back, and he does everything he can. I think he does everything he can to keep his head above water and not to drown. This man has heavy, heavy karma. This is a spiritual reading, okay? This is not about politics. This is a spiritual reading. He has heavy, heavy karma. I think he is still struggling with it. I think he's going to incarnate again, because he's not going to be able to fix and solve and make peace with all this in this lifetime. There are unconscious urges in him. I feel like he's barely aware of them, but they're always there, murmuring under the surface. I think he's extremely intuitive. I think he gets a lot of psychic downloads, psychic hits, psychic downloads. There's no way this guy isn't full-on clairvoyant, seriously. And I vaguely remember, didn't his wife, I know he has a second wife, didn't his first wife and a child die in a car crash? I mean, he's got Pluto in the 8th house. So Pluto in the 8th house doesn't always mean that you will lose someone in that way. But it does mean he's going to know pain. The deep, deep, deep parts of life, you are going to know them. Doesn't necessarily mean, God forbid, your spouse is going to die in a car accident, but you are going to know pain if you're an 8th house Pluto. It is inevitable. It is a promise. And he will also, and through other people, meaning the pain of losing people, but he's also got Jupiter there. He's got Jupiter in the 8th house, so he's also going to gain. He is going to gain and gain and gain and gain from other people, through his relationships with other people. Tremendous losses, tremendous gains. Now, is there anything else I wanted to mention? Oh, we should stop here for now. I think I've yelled enough for the moment. But I did also want to mention his moon is in Taurus. His moon is in Taurus at 0. Is that right? He has a 0-degree Taurus moon. And last year, Uranus, the liberator, the awakener, everything's going to change now, so watch the fuck out. Everything's going to change. Uranus was on his moon. So I'm thinking last year when that happened, that was when he decided. That was when he seriously, not decided, he didn't decide. He felt, he knew, I'm going to run, or I need to really discuss this with my family because I feel a calling that I can't control. That was last year, spring 2018. Uranus was on his moon, and I feel like he felt needed moon to do something like this, something that would be that would be radical. I mean, running for president is radical. Even if you're in politics, it's still a radical choice. But he's going to have to cooperate with other people. He's going to have to listen to his advisors. He's going to have to listen to female advisors, North Node in Cancer. He needs to listen to the women for sure. Okay, you guys, there's so much more to say with every single chart, and I tend to kind of like zoom in and blow something up that I think is interesting. If you want to book a reading with me, what you should do is email me. Look at my site. Everything will be in the description box. Look at my website page. Email me and we'll see. I don't have a ton of time this summer because I'm moving. So when people write me, I look to see like, oh, is there a spot over here? And I can't promise. I can look, but I can't promise. I can definitely read for you in August. God willing. August is good. But June and July, I'm finding that little spot that I missed where there's maybe some stray hour for you, or 90 minutes, however long you want the reading. So that's totally fine to write me and ask, but I can't promise for sure. Quick reminder about the eclipses. I'm just going to do this in every video. First eclipse, July 2nd, solar eclipse, 10 degrees Cancer. I'll say it again, July 2nd, solar eclipse. That means it's a new moon, 10 degrees Cancer. The second eclipse, July 16th, is a full moon. It's a lunar eclipse, 24 degrees Capricorn. So you want to look for 10 and 24, give or take 2 or 3 degrees or so. You want to look for that in your chart. Planets and your angles. And honestly, you want to do that in your progress chart too. Another reminder, think of the solar eclipse as something outside of you, some kind of external event, perhaps something that you've worked for, or maybe something totally out of the blue, random, came out of nowhere, didn't see it coming. And I'm not giving a judgment here, good, bad, or neutral. That will depend personally. But eclipses can bring in these, oh, I'm moving to Italy? Okay, oh, there's an opportunity there that fits me perfectly and someone offered it to me. Okay, it can be some kind of like good, exciting surprise. Eclipses can bring those sorts of lucky surprises or weird surprises, and other kinds too. But think of that first one as that outside manifestation, something kind of coming at you. And then the other one, the lunar, is going to be more internal and more emotional and more about your responses and how it feels. Now, also to remember that eclipses are never just one day. They set up an energy pattern. So that Capricorn Cancer axis, 2 parts of your chart that oppose each other, that's where the action is. That's where it's been all year, 2019. I mean, not that there wasn't other action, but there was action there, intense action, and that's going to continue throughout 2019 and even into 2020 because we're still going to have eclipses in these signs. But it's the Capricorn Cancer themes, the themes of those signs, home and work, but then also in your particular chart. That's what gives it the flavor and the color for your life, is where it lands in your chart. Look in the description box below. My information will be there. And we will talk again very soon.